In 1994, one book about dogs changed everything. A psychologist had ranked 138 dog breeds by intelligence. The backlash was so fierce, breeders threatened legal action. But here is the part almost no one talks about. Coren's methodology was surprisingly rigorous and well-sourced. He surveyed over 200 professional dog obedience judges. Each judge scored breeds they personally trained and observed. The data he collected was unlike anything seen before. But what exactly was Coren actually measuring? He defined three distinct and separate types of dog intelligence. First, instinctive intelligence. What the breed was born to do. A herding dog herds. A retriever retrieves. No training needed. Second, adaptive intelligence. Solving problems independently. And third, working and obedience intelligence. Learning from humans. His ranking focused almost entirely on that third type alone. And that one decision would define the entire controversy.
Now, stick with me, because this is where it gets fascinating. The Border Collie ranked first. Absolutely no one was surprised. It learns a new command in under 5 repetitions, consistently. Poodle, German Shepherd, Golden Retriever, rounding out the top 5. But the bottom of the list, that is where the real war started. The Afghan Hound ranked last. Its breeders were absolutely furious. Basset Hound, Beagle, Chow Chow, all ranked near the bottom. Kennel clubs around the world began drafting formal protest letters.
Their core argument was one Coren actually agreed with later. The ranking only measured one very specific, narrow skill set. Obedience is not the same as overall canine intelligence. Coren himself would later say, "The Afghan Hound is not dumb. It simply finds human commands deeply uninteresting by nature. It was bred to hunt independently, not to take orders. So ranking it low for ignoring commands is like penalizing a cat." The critics had a point, and science was beginning to agree. But here is what nobody was talking about at the time. Coren's study had accidentally started a much larger scientific conversation. Researchers now wanted to know, what are dogs actually capable of? And stay with me here, because the answer will genuinely surprise you. Dogs understand human pointing gestures better than chimpanzees do. That is not training. That is something hardwired into the species. Dogs evolved alongside humans for 15,000 years minimum. Their social intelligence with humans is genuinely extraordinary and unique. Coren knew his study had sparked something far bigger than rankings. By 1995, his book had sold over 1 million copies worldwide. Dog owners everywhere became obsessed with their breed's position. But the real scientific debate was just getting started. Critics asked a devastating question. Can you even measure dog IQ fairly? Different breeds have radically different sensory and cognitive strengths. A bloodhound can follow a trail 4 days old. 4 days. No obedience test can capture that kind of extraordinary cognitive ability. Defenders of the study pushed back with one very strong counterargument. The results between judges were remarkably, statistically consistent. If it were pure bias, the judges would not have agreed so closely. But what about the breeds that landed in unexpected positions? The Rottweiler ranked 9th. Owners were thrilled. Others were shocked. The Australian Shepherd ranked 13th, a working dog through and through. The Siberian Husky came in at 45th, which surprised absolutely nobody. Huskies are bred to run, endure, and survive, not to take orders. The rankings also revealed something about how we breed dogs at all. We selected for obedience, for centuries, deliberately and consistently. So the top-ranked breeds are not smarter. They are simply more compliant. That reframing changed everything about how researchers approached the subject.
New studies began looking at what dogs actually understand about the world. Dogs can learn the names of over 1,000 individual objects. A border collie named Chaser proved this definitively in 2011. That discovery would have been impossible without Coren starting the conversation. But the controversy had one more explosive dimension nobody expected. The ranking was being used by the public in ways Coren never intended. Low-ranked breeds were being passed over at shelters and adoption centers. This was a consequence Coren found deeply troubling and personally painful. He began writing and speaking publicly to correct the misunderstanding. Every breed, he insisted, has strengths that no ranking can capture. And here is where the story becomes genuinely revolutionary. Pay attention. Researchers discovered dogs read human facial expressions with startling accuracy. They even scan faces the same left to right way that humans do. That is not instinct alone. That is a form of social cognition. Dogs also understand when a human is watching versus looking away. That requires theory of mind, an awareness of another's perspective. Whether dogs truly have it is still one of science's great open questions. But every question asked today traces back directly to that 1994 ranking. Now, what did the ranking actually get right? Quite a lot, surprisingly. Modern brain imaging studies have confirmed real intelligence differences between breeds. Breeds selectively engineered for complex tasks show measurably different neural wiring. So Coren was pointing at something real, just with the wrong measuring tape. That is actually how most landmark science works. Imperfectly, but importantly. In 2018, a major study revisited the entire framework Coren had established. The conclusion was clear. Dogs are not more or less intelligent than other species. They are differently intelligent, specialized for their specific ecological niche. Dogs are uniquely brilliant at understanding and navigating human social worlds. No other species on Earth does this with the same precision and depth.
So what happened to Coren after the firestorm finally died down? He kept writing. He published 14 more books about dogs and human psychology. He became one of the most widely read canine psychology authors in history. The kennel clubs eventually stopped threatening legal action entirely. Some even began citing his research in their own breed promotion materials. The study had gone from weapon to reference in under a decade. Today, the ranking is still cited, debated, and downloaded every single day. And every time someone asks, what is the smartest dog breed? Coren answers. But the deeper question his work left us is far more interesting. What does it actually mean to be intelligent for any living creature? Is it solving puzzles, following commands, surviving against all odds? Or is it knowing,
without a single word when someone needs you? Coren's ranking did not answer that question, but it made us ask it. And in science, asking the right question is often the entire point. If you own a dog that ranked low, here is what that actually means. It means your dog excels at something the ranking simply did not measure. The beagle that ignores every command has a nose of unmatched precision. The husky that defies every command has run 500 miles through a blizzard. That is not stupidity. That is a different and extraordinary kind of mastery.
30 years after publication, the debate shows absolutely no signs of stopping. And that, ultimately, is the greatest measure of any scientific contribution. Not whether it was right, but whether it kept people thinking. The dog next to you right now, smarter than you think, in ways you cannot measure.